Greetings, everyone. I am Reverend Patricia St. Bernard, the chair of the Diocesan Board of Social Responsibility in the Anglican Church in the Diocese of Trinidad and Tobago. We would like to lend our voices to the commemoration of International Day for Elimination of Violence against Women in keeping with the board's mandate. This day is commemorated from November the 25th to December the 10th as the 16 Days of Activism Against Violence Against Women and Girls campaign. Now, this campaign aims to galvanize individual and collective action to end violence against women and girls around the world. Violence against women, we must understand, is a serious human rights violation that affects women of all ages, races, and socio-economic background. We must all work together to end this violence and create a safer world for women and girls everywhere, since it remains one of the most prevalent and pervasive human rights violations in the world. It has tremendous costs, from greater strains on healthcare to legal expenses and losses in productivity. How can we help prevent violence against women and girls? We must teach the next generation. The examples we set for the younger generation shape the way they think about gender, respect, and human rights. We should start conversations about gender and gender roles early on in the lives of our young people and challenge the traditional features and characteristics assigned to men and women. We should also point out the stereotypes that children constantly encounter, whether in media, on the street, or at the school. We should inform them and talk about consent, bodily autonomy, and accountability to boys and girls, and listen carefully to what they have to say about their experience in the world. By empowering young advocates with information and educating them about women's rights, we can build a better future for all. We must also know that services for survivors are essential. This means that shelters, hotlines, counseling, and all support for survivors of gender-based violence need to be available for those in need. We need to understand that gender-based violence is never the victim's fault. No one deserves to be abused, regardless of their behavior or dress. It is a crime and a human rights violation. It is not a private matter and should not be kept hidden. Most women who report abuse are telling the truth and should be listened to. While alcohol and drugs can be contributing factors, they do not cause violence. Violence is a choice made by the perpetrator. And we must know that men can also be victims of gender-based violence, but we see in the reporting that it's mainly women who are likely to experience it. Gender-based violence happens in all communities, regardless of socio-economic status or education level. While some perpetrators of gender-based violence may have mental health issues, most do not. We are called to educate ourselves about violence, and we should learn more about violence against women and the impact it has on survivors. This can help us better understand the experiences of survivors and how to support them. Lastly, we can advocate for policies and programs that support survivors of violence. This can include supporting women's organizations, better legislation, prosecution of perpetrators, more services for survivors, and training not only for law enforcement but officials in all sectors of society. In conclusion, let us all strive to build a better society where we can all live together in harmony with the love of God.